then. Back again. It's been forever.
Seems like it.
It feels like it. Off our schedule of doing one every 3 days.
Yeah. What episode is this? 95?
95.
96? 95. Okay, there we go.
Allegedly. I mean, it might be 96, but we're going with 95 for now.
95 will work.
That's what it's listed as, you know?
Excellent.
We've made mistakes in the past.
And we'll make them probably tonight.
Well, you know. If history repeats
So, this week we have as our guest, all the way from Lithuania, Mindaugas, Tarasaitis. Very welcome to the show. It's good to have you, sir.
A flex right off the start. I like it.
That's how we do it here.
That's how you do it there in Lithuania, huh? So, dude, not everybody in the United States pays attention to, Eastern European pullers. So tell us a little bit about like yourself and how you got into the sport, and also what the sport is like in Lithuania.
So I guess I'm pretty happy that in Lithuania it's relatively popular, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a small country, and we have many little towns with a club in each of them, which means quite a lot of arm wrestlers, and the competitions are also held not very far from you normally.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty good. Comparing to my life now in Denmark, you have to drive like 6 hours if you want to reach someone in Sweden or Norway. In Lithuania it was a pretty good start for me.
What got you into the sport?
I used to be pretty good, like in school, doing it after lessons, and whenever I found out that it was actually a sport, I really enjoyed my first tournament just to test myself, and I saw that I'm actually pretty good. So that's how it started. Everybody likes to win, so of course you keep training and get all the prizes.
So is it like in Lithuania? Does everybody know about arm wrestling as a professional sport?
I wouldn't say so, but I think it's getting more popular. It seems that it is.
That's cool.
The
I mean,
federation-
here, go ahead.
The federation is getting some money from the government, so maybe in the near future we will do better and better.
So does your country pay people for getting medals, for example?
Yeah, at the moment, as I know, the federation is in a bit in small trouble due to the worlds which we organized. So we get some money from the government, but for now the money goes just to compensate all the losses.
Of course.
What happened?
I think our president of federation, he organized the tournament, and he agreed with Mazurenko that they will help each other. And at the end, he was just not able to find enough money, and this is what happened.
That's
so he has to pay it back. But so
that's a bad situation, then.
But anyway, I'm also getting some money actually from the federation. Just they pay for tickets, flight tickets, and also hotels. So still good enough for me.
That's great. That's more than people get here as well. I mean, it's one of those things we frequently talk about. Actually, there's a difference in how various countries treat arm wrestling and what they do for their sportsmen. And United States, there's a lot of big money tournaments here, but in terms of recognition of world championships or Zloty Tour, that kind of stuff, there's very little. So if you get a sponsorship, it's from like a private person. It's not from the government.
For me, I didn't get any money before winning at Europeans this year. Yeah. So yeah, if you don't win, you don't get the money.
Yeah. Story of arm wrestling. So when was your first tournament? What year?
I don't even remember. I think it was 9 years ago.
Okay. And you don't live in Lithuania anymore, correct?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Denmark now.
Why'd you move?
Mostly just money reasons. I guess Lithuania is still pretty poor.
Mm-hmm.
And in Denmark, it's nice. I'm not
That's a
disappointed.
good reason.
I'm not disappointed. Well, that's good. That's good.
So have things changed for you since you've had a lot of recent successes against big names, and we're going to show you some of your matches. I think they're really impressive. John and I were talking about them beforehand, and I think not so many people in the United States know your name yet, even though your weight class is very popular here. So I think that they will like your matches too, so it'll be fun to see. But do you feel like now that you've gotten some very big wins, are you more recognized in the arm wrestling world?
Well, as you can see, I got to your show. Yeah, I am kind of, but no, I still think that it's just a beginning for me. Just a few years ago, I didn't even imagine being able to win against these big names, So, and now recently in Zloty Tour, I learned a good lesson also.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we will keep training and getting better.
So let's talk about that a little bit. How does your training look? Do you arm wrestle multiple times a week, or do you focus on weights?
Yeah, so by now I had a chance to try a few different clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Three of them actually. First one was in my hometown, and I started just for a few years before I left to university. And then in this capital city, Vilnius, they had a very nice club, much more people and much more interest. So in Vilnius, I was training 2 times per week. Both times mostly arm wrestling, a little bit weight training. And now when I came to Denmark 3 years ago, we had a club here, and but we didn't have any. It was not a part of a gym. It was just in like open hall, and I really liked this kind of atmosphere just because everybody had to do arm wrestling and nothing else, which means that everybody gets a lot of time at the table, and they are very, very smart, very helpful, and so on. Because when we have a gym weights next to them, most of the people will just go and do some fight attempts. So don't spend enough time at the table.
So what does your practice look like?
Table time.
Do you spend a lot of time working on techniques, or just arm wrestling, like competitively in the different people practice different ways, and a lot of times practices becomes like a mini tournament for people. What does yours look like?
Yeah, for me it always was like a mini tournament, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think the gym is also really necessary.
Yeah.
Make it because in a tournament you cannot practice really the good technique or adjust your technique to the required level, let's say. You have to add some weight training. But yeah, if you can organize it well enough, so as Krasimir does.
Yeah. I'm working on one of my.
Yeah, in that case, you could do only table time maybe, and just.
One of my
I like it.
training partners is watching right now. I think you know him because he's recently just come to the United States to visit for a while. Oleg Tudorian. I don't know if you know him or not. He's from Moldova. He's good friends with your friend Daniel, who you have a battle with at every tournament, it seems like. But Oleg is fun in practice, but he likes to, for him, it's definitely competition the whole time. So it's like power, power, power. He's very powerful, man. But I noticed that you and Daniel have been, not at every tournament, but pretty frequently you guys meet in the finals. It's so is he your number one rival right now, do you think?
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Is Daniel from Moldova, is he
Oh.
your number one rival right now?
Yeah, I guess I have to revenge for him. But I don't think that he's the strongest opponent at the moment. But of course, for sure, I have to teach him a lesson also. I won against him a few times at the beginning, the first few times, and now he's getting better and better. So I guess he'll learn a good way to counter me. Now, I also understood that I have to improve one of my weak spots.
Mm-hmm.
But
So-
yeah, this is a nice game. You know, someone learns a good trick, and then another one to adapt.
Right. It's the beauty of the sport. There's a lot of ways to do it.
Here's a question coming from Dimitar Yankov. He wants to know, what have you done to develop your pronation?
Not much actually. I was just top rolling all day at the table, every match, thousands of times, and this is where it comes from. I never did any specific exercise for it, so it must be.
You think it's
It's like
just
a
maybe a natural ability of yours to, you know, you're comfortable doing it, you understand how to do it, you just did it a lot, and now it's there.
I don't think it's a natural thing,
Mm-hmm.
because during the first few years of my career, let's say, I didn't even top roll that much. Only when I came to this capital city, Vilnius, and I had a good, maybe my first trainer, real trainer, who understood something about arm wrestling. So he taught me how to top roll,
Mm-hmm.
and I did some of these just exercises where you pull something just straight to yourself.
Sure.
Let's say you have a belt here, and and it improved my. What is this muscle here? Like.
Oh, brachialis or the
Brachialis.
Yeah.
posting? Yeah.
So after I did some of these weight training exercises, I felt that okay, top roll goes much easier, and then I just kept top rolling. So, yeah.
Well, it's working, man. I think John might be right. It might be a superpower that you were born with. You know? Sometimes there's like superheroes out there in the arm wrestling world. You might be. I mean, like when I watch you, you're not one of those guys. And they walk in the room, you're like, holy shit, look at that guy. Pushkar walks in, everybody expects him to win. But like you're a guy, if you're walking down the street, most people aren't going to say that guy must arm wrestle. And I like that because it means that it's hard to explain where your strength comes from. And it's one of the things about arm wrestling that really interests me is that some people have so much power and the way they look can be significantly different. I mean, if you look at Pridnik, he's strong, then you look at, Segre, Bogoslovov, Segre looks like a tank.
Yeah.
And yet, Evgeny looks relatively normal.
Relatively.
So I mean, he looks strong, but he doesn't look like he doesn't look like an action figure. You know what I mean? So that's one of my favorite parts
When you
of it.
stand close to him, you can see that he is pretty massive as well. Like, the
Yeah.
volume is rare.
Well, anyway, I like that. I think it's a cool thing. So, want to watch one of these matches, John?
Yeah, sure.
John has a favorite match, and he was like, I want to watch this match. And I was like, that's the one I sent you. And he's like, no, not that one, this one. And I was like, oh, that's the one I sent you.
No one ever said I was the brightest guy in the world, okay?
Well, we still love you, though, man.
Oh, thank you.
You guys are going to love this match because I think it's really impressive, and it was super fun to watch. I've watched it like 20 times. And Hristo has an extremely difficult style. So walk us through this. Tell us what's going on here.
Yeah, so at first I'm trying to topple the guy, but in straps he's pretty good at just holding his wrist in place. So little by little I'm just trying to adjust, and I don't feel too bad. But it's not like he has a lot of power, but I just cannot lift him up. Oh, and by the way, this is already the second match.
Right.
So we were both super tired at this point, but he was more tired. He couldn't do anything basically. Yeah, so it's not that much power at this point. It's just
Well, Hristo has beaten a lot of people with this technique.
yeah. So tricep press worked this time as well. This
Is
is
that
how
a
you,
tech? Go ahead.
yeah, this is how you beat him. You have to use tricep press. The same like Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to me that I think people kind of forget that
Beautiful.
when it comes to that move, especially like, I think Crazy George is the only one who really does does the King's move with a joint lock like that. Everybody else kind of seems to get into a position where you're pushing sideways on their elbow rather than trying to open up their bicep. And people forget that sometimes straight side is what beats that. Not pulling back. When you were trying to top roll underneath and you were holding with your joints because, like you said, there's not a whole lot of pressure there. He's just really hard to bring back. And when you drag back, it compromises your own hand a little bit. And sometimes straight sideways works with that because instead of trying to drag sideways down on their arm joint like you were before, you're actually pushing into their bicep, which will open. And with the new rules of you have to stand up if it's neutral or losing position, that move isn't so great if they have to be under the table like Hristo does. He's sitting there in the winning position with his shoulder underneath, and it's fine. As soon as he gets to the neutral, he's got to stand up, and he knows better than most people because he's such a good referee as well.
And also, if you try to push a bit forward, it also makes it hard for him to keep his elbow on the pad.
Correct. And because you're driving sideways and you're not pushing at him, you're driving sideways still.
Yeah.
It's not a foul on you. You're just trying to win the match,
Yeah, Leonard Harkless, who's the head ref of WAF, was just watching that match with us, and he said they should have fouled him.
And they were telling him to stand up. So I don't know what do you foul somebody immediately or do you have to warn them first? I don't know.
Well, usually you don't warn people before fouls. Once he moved into a losing position, it would be an automatic foul.
It
At
is?
least that's my understanding.
Because I know when someone lets go of the peg, you warn them, and if they
True.
put it back on, you don't stop them. I just don't know if it's the same thing.
That's a good point.
It might not be. I have no idea. Leonard,
Well,
please.
Leonard did just say that they should have fouled him, period. So.
Okay.
Actually, he just wrote, he said you give them 2 commands and then a foul. So there you go.
But most of the time, the guy was still in the attacking position. So I think the referee did a good job, actually.
Yeah. It's one of those things that's so hard because, winning position, neutral, 1 degree is the difference, right? So I think it was good. You won the match, so I think it was really good.
What do you think of...
After that, that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, he had you almost pinned for a good 30 seconds in that match. So it's just impressive that you held on. Most people would have given up and seen what happened, but you held on the whole time, which I love. What do you think of that move in general, the King's move?
It's a great move. I like it.
Yeah. You ever practice it?
No, never.
Neither do I. I mean, it's fun.
For me, it seems to be a bit dangerous.
That's actually exactly what Leonard just posted. That's a dangerous position. And if you watched, I assume that you saw the super match with Pushkar and Michael Todd 2 weeks ago. And
sure. I was at Bloody, so
right.
So
yeah, I mean, you can see Michael when he gets that, when Pushkar turned into press like you just did with Hristo, he came up pretty quickly because it puts extraordinary pressure on his elbow. And typically Michael will only come out of that move if he feels like his arm is in danger of getting injured. And so you have to imagine that's why he came up so quickly when Pushkar put his full tricep pressure on.
I was surprised that Pushkar didn't use that move in like the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, I
Because
was
it's
too.
obvious. Like,
Why do you think that is? I mean, I was impressed that he pulled it out because once Michael stopped, I think it was the third match. I thought Pushkar might be done because he kept doing, hitting as hard as he could and then lifting an elbow to try to get a new start, like he did the first time they had a super match. So I was happy that he changed it up and transitioned to new stuff. But do you think that was something he planned, or did he just discover it in the moment?
hard to tell. It's very hard to tell.
I know
Seems
it is
that
hard to tell.
he discovered it.
That's what I thought too, based on his the way it looked, and it was almost like he said, "Wait a minute," and just tried it, and it worked, and he was like, "Whoa."
Yeah, sometimes
Like-
because we don't. Yeah, yeah. You don't see Pushkar pressing too often, and
No.
sometimes the last option is the best one, but it takes a lot. It takes desperation sometimes to choose your last option, and we all know how much wear Michael will put on an arm, and we all know also that Pushkar's strength has never been his endurance. He's just a powerful, explosive guy, and I was actually fairly impressed also with Pushkar because he did change the way he pulled. He was not just going straight sideways. He was standing in the center of the table and kind of posting up, not trying to go sideways, trying to get height before pressing, which with the King's move is a necessary thing. If you just go straight sideways, I mean, I think enough people have learned, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I think Pushkar had all the tools most of the time, but he didn't use it before. Now it's fine.
Yeah, I think the first time they met up, he had the tools. It's just he didn't do the right thing,
What's the next tournament for you? Arnold's in Ohio. Gonna come over to the United States and pull.
If somebody wants to support me on the trip, sure.
We'll start working on that, man. We'll get on that for you.
But
Yeah.
yeah, otherwise Europeans or worlds. Yeah, Europeans for sure.
Nice.
I don't have. Maybe I have some tournaments back in Lithuania because I guess I still have to win nationals.
Right. Do you have competition in your weight class in your country?
I guess no. But, most of the time I go like a class higher or
Right.
a class higher, so
Mhm.
can be a bit difficult. Yeah. Last year I actually lost my left.
Is that right?
I was in 75 kilos category, and I lost, got second place. And then I won Europeans.
Do you
Oh.
typically pull
Yep.
at 70 kilos? Is that your typical weight
Yeah.
class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's 75.
You have to take it easy on the pizza before nationals this time, then.
No,
That's
I
my
weight.
advice.
My weight is always 70, but I
Is
just
it?
go higher. Yeah.
Have you pulled Savickas? Do you know him?
Savickas?
Yeah.
Žydrūnas?
hmm
The Lithuanian strongman?
Yeah.
No, never. But
People always ask that. They're always like, can he beat somebody, he must be 130 kilos maybe, or even more. He's very, very big. So that would be a funny match.
he used to be 185.
Okay, there you go. So I was way off. He's gigantic, in other
Yeah.
words. I think that should...
We had one Lithuanian arm wrestler. He was 80 kilos. And he's still 80 kilos. And he had an opportunity to arm wrestle with Žydrūnas, and he beat him.
Oh.
There you go. That would be a great match to watch, man. Just because of the ridiculousness of it, I think it would be good. We should set that up. That's another thing we have to get a sponsor for you. I don't know
We
what
need to
kind of
find
shape
so many
he's in.
sponsors here.
Yeah, we're going to be busy. I have to send you back to Lithuania for that one. So now we need a flight home for you and also a flight to Ohio. Have you ever been to Ohio?
Nope.
Yeah.
Not
It's
even
okay.
in
It's very
States.
flat. It's very flat.
Very flat. Yeah.
The
It's a
only
big
thing
state.
the only thing there really is the Arnold Classic once a year.
Ohio is one of those places you're driving, you finally get there. You're like, thank God we're finally in Ohio. And then 15 hours later, you're still driving and you're not where you're supposed to be. You're like,
Yes.
what the hell? All right, let's watch another video, John. Pick
All
one of those
right.
ones I sent.
What's
I love watching videos with people. It makes you a little embarrassed because you have to, oh, look at this one. Giannis.
Mr. Giannis Mullins?
How's his hand feel?
That day felt fine. It felt fine. I didn't expect to do that well. I was just I came to Riga. I met these guys. I went. Wait a second. Let me remember. I think it was 78 kilo class. And I met Krasovskis and Yanis in that class, and I beat them both.
Nice.
So it was a very good day. Very good day.
Yeah.
But it's also a bit of like an unusual situation because I was working. I was doing a physical job back then, working a lot of with hands, and I gained a lot of like finger strength and hand strength due to that. And that tournament was held in the summer, and just before that, I came back to Lithuania to my mom's house. I ate a lot of good food for 2 weeks. Did nothing, was just resting, food, and so I went to Riga and destroyed the guys.
Yeah,
But
it's nice too because you and Giannis have similar strengths too. You guys, if you guys get where you want to go, you kind of want to do the same stuff. So it's definitely a nice test for you to pull against a guy as good as he is. That's for sure.
Yeah, but at this point, I think Yanis and Krasovskis, they are very complete athletes. Not like me, still pretty lazy. I should do more side pressure. Maybe.
Do you practice like pulling inside, for example? I mean, do you have strength in a hook as well?
A little bit sometimes. It's getting better.
Well, I think it's important that somebody like I think that any athlete can look at themselves and say that though, can say that. Listen, I have a lot more work to do to become as complete as I need to be. A lot of guys don't feel that way. People are like, I'm as good as I'm. This is great. I'm doing great. And then a year later, you look back and you're like, man, I kind of sucked back then.
After you go to Zloty and you can feel that the level is much higher than Worlds. So I think this Zloty was such a high level. It's like a first time for me to see such a competition.
And what do you attribute that to? Do you think it's because more people are using there, or because it has some money attached to it, or what?
No, Zloty Tour doesn't even have that much money attached to it. Most of these Kazakhstan, Georgian, Turkish people, they get money from the government. So they get more from the government by going to Worlds or Europeans. And the Zloty Tour is not so profitable for them.
Do you think it is because they don't do the drug testing there, that the people come in stronger?
Yeah, it could be the reason. For sure, you can see many of these of the guys who are doing it. Somehow, everybody just feels so big when you do it. Even if, let's say, my friend from Lithuania, he had to lose like 6 or 7 kilos, and he got to go into 78 kilo class, and then he showed up. You could see that he was the smallest guy in the class.
That's crazy.
Because everyone is like massive. I don't know how they do it, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's becoming very, very clear, and however you want to look at it, unfortunately, or whatever, that cutting weight is a reality of the sport. You kind of almost have to do it in order to stay competitive with sizes and strengths and all these kind of things. Like you said, your friend had to cut all this weight and he's still the smallest guy. It's like, how is this possible?
It's true. It's very true. I didn't talk to as many people in Budapest, but in Bulgaria, when I was talking to guys in my class, I had cut 12 pounds. And I was on the low end. A lot of the guys had cut either 20 or 25 pounds. And this is in, master's class. So it's just crazy. People will go to any lengths to try to get an advantage like that.
For me,
So
I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a good thing to lose weight, especially if you are doing it constantly.
Sure.
You will end up losing some of the metabolism and the health.
I agree.
So, and in arm wrestling, I think since you should look at it as a long-term sport, because you cannot achieve it quickly, you have to dedicate some time. So you have to be in a good shape, in good condition at all times.
I agree with you. I mean, we see it happen in lots of sports where people cut too much weight and they end up getting hospitalized, or they just don't look like themselves, or they can't recover to the point that they need to. I feel like, we had a doctor come on the show and talk about it, and he basically was saying, anything more than 10 pounds, you're risking a significant loss in strength and ability, and that's not so much worth it. It could be a little bit more than that if you're a very big person. For example, Zavikas could probably lose 30 pounds and nobody would even notice. But for regular people like us, 10, 15 pounds is like the limit of what is healthy to try. And for you, maybe even a little bit less, maybe like 8 pounds for you, or like 4 kilos, that kind of thing.
For this Lottie, I had to lose 1 kilo, and it was hard because I'm not used to it. Normally, I always 9 or 68.
I could lose 1 kilo very easily, man. Get in the bathtub for 10 minutes.
Hard. I had to stop it one day.
Don't do it like that. I'm telling you, you can get in the bathtub for 10 minutes, super hot water, you will lose it. And if you can, or a sauna will work too, very quick. You can watch we did a show about weight cutting a while ago, but you can look it up. They tell you how to do it.
Yeah, you'll melt like a candle, no problem.
Yeah, very easy. I'm not gonna say it's easy, but it's better than having to skip the pizza. Put it that way. So if you want to still eat the pizza, get into the sauna. There you go. All right, I got to ask some of these questions. Let's see here. Here's a question from Copenhagen, from Daniel. He wants to know when you're going to have a super match with Tony Christensen.
That's a joke question.
Is it? Well, yes. Tell us why. We want to be in on the joke, so you have to explain for us.
Oh, Tony, we have our friend Tony, who is coming to train with us. He is a very nice guy, but I don't think that he is at my level. He used to be very good, but not anymore. So, yeah, we can arrange the super match.
Yeah, so arrange it. He's going to get his butt whipped. So there you go. I just told you. So if you want to arrange it, go ahead, but don't cry if you lose. There's a lot of people asking questions about different people you've pulled, or if you're going to pull. This person, Lassi Kikbush, I think is how you pronounce it. He's someone you have matched with before, I think.
The guy, the guy is a bit heavier than me. Like, I think he's 110 kilos. But, when I came here to Denmark, it felt much easier after Lithuanian level, because Lithuanian used to be a bit higher. So, and Danish people were just kind of starting it, except this Tony and Lasse. They used to do it like for 15 years already. But still, the popularity here is even lower, and so only these few people did it. That's why it's not a very high level. But Lasse used to do quite well in Sweden also, and Norway. So nice. He was quite famous here.
All right, there's a whole bunch of questions coming in here. Let's see. Well, while I'm looking up at these questions, do you have a person in mind that you'd like to have a super match with soon?
I would like to have a super match with basically anyone, just because I never had any official super matches. So
we'll set it up for you. Maybe Justin Bishop.
Or maybe Ryan Bowen.
Ryan Bowen.
There you go.
Well, you can do both on the same day. Actually, maybe Ryan can do the sponsorship thing for us, I think it would be nice for you to come to the United States. So just, you have to fly around here. You can't drive because you'll be driving the whole time you're here. The country is so gigantic. But there's a lot of really good 70-kilo pullers here. That's why you should come to Arnold's. So I'm going to talk to people make it happen.
That would be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. And let's see, his question from Abdul, who said he actually lived in Lithuania and he learned how to speak the language. But his question, thankfully, is in English, so I can read it. And it is, do you have any, yeah, this is a good question. Do you have any techniques that you use that you think specifically improve tendon and ligament strength? Or are you aware of anything that people on your team in Lithuania did to try to improve that?
So just static holds at the table in some good comfortable positions for you. Let's say good hook and just hold as long as you can. Or even topo. Triceps doesn't matter. Just statics. Always statics for tendons.
I think that's good. That's reliable stuff. I mean, it's a question we get a lot. And I always find that question to be interesting because when you speak of like strength, so to speak, and building strength, I mean, that's something you can think of with muscles, because muscles will get bigger and they contract, whereas tendons don't really contract to the same extent. So when we talk about them being stronger, what we're really doing is making them thicker. And it's tricky when you think about it.
Well, it's really tricky because you have to damage them to make them thicker.
Yeah.
Of course, right? Yeah, of course.
So it's dangerous, and it's another thing that you don't hear people talk about very much in sports outside of arm wrestling. You know, people are building their muscle power, they're doing different exercises for this muscle or that muscle, but you hear very few people talking about, I need to get stronger tendons outside of our sport.
Yeah, when you think about it, you're right. Not too many other sports talk about tendons that much.
Yeah,
the only time you hear about tendon and ligaments is when someone has to repair them. So usually it's some kind of physical therapy kind of talk, but yeah, when it's like, well, I'm really, really healthy, I just need to get stronger tendons, people will be like, why?
Why?
Did you have any interest in doing WAL when that was still around?
Yes, for sure. Yeah. Since I don't get any money from Lithuanian government, at least not that much. So that these big tournaments are the only source of arm wrestling income. So yeah, I would love to, but I couldn't, just because I was not from Denmark, even if I'm...
Yeah, their lists of countries were very strange. I mean, I don't know why it went down the way it did. There might be another big money league starting up in the United States, and if so, the rumor is it's going to be open to everybody. So we might be there might be enough money to encourage you to buy a plane ticket to come over, because it would be fun to see you pulling against some of the best 70-kilo guys here. Sam Harris and Justin are both watching right now. I think that would be fun matches for you. So I would love to see you arm wrestle, actually, Sam. I think that would be a great match.
I was just thinking the same thing, because you guys are both, natural 154s too. Sam, I think Sam, when he was competing at 165, was 158 pounds or something like that.
Right.
He's right there. So, about 72 kilos. So it's kind of rare to find a natural 70-kilo guy. They're usually a lot bigger.
It is. Yeah, that's another thing I like about you, Mindaugas, is that you arm wrestle at your own weight, where most of us are cutting 10 pounds to get into a class with smaller guys because we think it's an advantage. So I like the fact that you just show up and only have to lose, 2 pounds or 1 kilo to make your weight class. It's very good.
When I started, I was losing like 2 kilos, so I could reach 65 kilo class. And then just little by little, I saw that I don't need it to lose it anymore. And I could stay at 70 kilos, and then also even at Europeans, I can just go to 70 at my class. I don't have to lose any weight and win. So
that is cool. Let's watch that other video, John.
All right, sir.
And then I will pick some more of these questions, because there's a whole bunch of them coming in here. And they're good.
Jedną przegraną.
Yeah. Speaking of Zloty Tour, many times you guys have a match in the finals, I think.
Yeah, that was the first time ever.
This is the first time, okay.
And the guy was confident at first, because I'm so skinny.
How have your matches changed over the last couple of years with Daniel?
So I used to do the same thing all the
trochę
time,
przewagę
and
nad swoim
he
rywalem.
improved a lot in the triceps press
Sędzia musi być bardzo
or just side
skrupulatny.
pressure,
Tu
and he's not
proszę zwrócić uwagę
that
na
much worried about his
ręce tutaj
wrist
na
anymore.
barki, a teraz atak
He's just
górą
pressing
zawodnika z
raw
Litwy. Chyba dobija
power to the
rękę
side,
rywala do poduszki. Tak
which
jest, widzimy eksplozję radości
is a very unusual
Mindaugasa.
defense against my move, because yeah, it doesn't matter if I win wrist and if I can control his hand, still doesn't help me. You cannot go sideways. That's why I'm starting to go to the gym now and train side pressure. No,
That move is it's crazy to me. His friend Oleg, who trains, he's living in my city in Massachusetts now for the next few months, and Oleg is one of Daniel's training partners in Moldova, and he also uses that move, and it's disgusting. It's so powerful, and I can't do it. When I do it, I feel like my arm is going to explode. Like it feels like my elbow is going to turn into a hand grenade and just blow up. You know, and I always have had a hard time understanding how people can generate that amount of power. And I don't know if it is.
I used to feel the same way. I used to feel like it's such an awkward move, so I didn't even train it. But I think these guys, they just lift the big weights, and during time get super strong.
Yeah, Oleg does not speak any English, and he speaks like 10 words, so he always struggled to communicate. But I think what he was telling me is that he doesn't lift weights except as a warm-up, and that he's developed that technique just by practicing on the table over and over and over and over again. I could be wrong because, like I said, there's a language barrier. But I asked him many questions about it using Google Translate, and I think that's basically what he said he's doing. I got some people online talking about using the pec deck, or that kind of pectoralis muscle exercise. A lot of people say that for side pressure. But even so, the elbow is the elbow. You know, it's one thing to get the muscle strong, but being able to put that amount of pressure on your elbow is something that I don't think everybody can do.
And is it something you're only feeling when you have your hand turned up, when you feel that pressure, or is it anyway?
When do I feel it?
Yeah, that pressure where you describing that's like, you know, my elbow's going to blow up kind of thing.
Let's say if I would do the move.
Yeah.
Well, if I would do the move, it just feels a bit weird here in the elbow. Like
sure.
You don't have enough power to finish the guy. But it's even the worse feeling when you have to top roll against that kind of move.
Yeah,
because you have everything here, and you just it's such an awkward move to go from this position. Normally, you would just there are not too many guys doing this good tricep press. Like normally, when you get your wrist, you can kind of slowly just finish them up little by little. And in the case of Daniel, it's just too much. Like he's not going even a bit back. He's going forward. So it puts a high pressure here, just in this area, which is very annoying.
Yeah, it's annoying and it's frustrating when, you know, like you said, you take someone's hand, it should get easier and easier. And it's like, why isn't it getting easier? Why is it getting harder? And why is it going the wrong way? Like, this guy's supposed to be pulling at me, not pushing at me. Like, it should be getting easier, and it's just horrible. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yep.
So, arm wrestling is changing a little bit.
It's changing.
Bit by bit. So, new techniques, new good moves. That's why you have to adjust as well.
You do. No, it's good to have someone who's a rival, because as you said earlier tonight, they push you to go in new directions. And as long as you can find new directions to go in, you're always going to continue improving. So I think it's a very good thing to have someone that challenges you and makes you rethink where you are in the sport.
For me, I'm so skinny just because I was a bit lazy and I didn't really want to commit 100%. I didn't want to be like a super jacked guy, so I was testing little by little. Like, could I win something at Europeans, or could I win something at Worlds? And just recently, I saw that okay, it's possible. So now I will add more commitment and just more training, just to beat these last few guys.
Do you think nutrition plays any role in your success? Like, do you
Sure.
guys, what do you concentrate on, like eating certain things, or do you just eat what you feel like?
You don't eat bad things, only good things. Which
So you mean
means
like pizza, ice cream, that kind of stuff?
no alcohol.
Okay, I'm with you there.
Uh, Pizza can be nice, ice cream can be nice, everything is okay. Um, just no poison basically. Sometimes too much of these prefabricated stuff can be bad also.
True.
A bit as natural as healthy as possible. Things from nature are the best.
So does that include like Oreos, for example?
Josh just wants to eat. He just wants you to say candy. Just make him happy. You know.
If you will eat a lot of candy or ice cream, let's say, there's a high probability that you will get some weight, and you will go to the class. You will show up at the tournament, being a bit heavier, and you will think that okay, these other guys must be taking steroids because they are so strong. But it's
Yeah.
actually just not your class. You should be leaner and more
Yes.
that.
That's the truth. It's not that they're stronger, it's that I ate too many Oreos. That's
Yep.
actually really good advice, man. That's really good advice. I don't know if I can follow it though, because I get really, it makes me happy to eat that kind of stuff. But honestly, I stay about the same weight all the time. So, but I do enjoy them, and I don't drink either, like you. I think it's like a waste of calories and waste of time, so I don't do it.
Would it make you happy if you could win worlds instead of eating Oreos?
See, that's a good question.
Ooh, that's a good one, Josh.
What would make it you more happy?
Well, considering I don't eat any Oreos or ice cream or pizza or anything for 2 weeks before Worlds, that would be your answer. I'd be willing to do anything to win Worlds, but I like to joke around about Oreos.
2 weeks.
I'll tell you,
Yeah, good commitment, Josh. 2 weeks
2
before.
weeks. To me, that's a long time. So basically, I always weigh 94 kilos, and then I compete at 90 kilos. So 2 weeks, I'll eat a little bit better. And I usually, like you, I eat well most of the time. But for me, I have a rule that 3 meals a week, I will not eat well. I will have something like pizza or ice cream or something like that. Just because, life is short. And it's good to have some fun things to look forward to. But you're right. You're right. I think it's way better for you to be really very close to your natural weight that you compete at, and to be able to walk into the tournament without having to cut a lot of weight. It's very smart. It's better on your body, and it's one less thing that you have to worry about or focus on, so you can concentrate on the training instead. So I think everybody knows that this is the correct way to do it.
Well, not necessarily. It depends on what you want to do in life.
Yeah. Well, if you want to win. There's a lot of people that are professional Oreo eaters. If you walk around, you can see them everywhere. So I do not want to compete in that area. I'm happy competing where I am now. But let's see. I want to make sure I got all these questions in, Mindaugas, before we let you go. So in Denmark, you're going to stay there for a while, or?
No plans to go back for now. And I wouldn't go to Lithuania. I would go somewhere else.
Yeah. United States, maybe.
Why not?
Why not?
There you
Exactly.
go.
Yeah, there's a couple questions that I missed. There's one about your YouTube channel that they really liked it and they want you to start doing it again. And there's a couple people that you can message later asking where they can train with you in Copenhagen. So you can read through the comments and talk to those people if you want to. And there's a lot of people saying, good things about you, and the matches are impressive to watch. And I love watching you pull, man. To me, I think your technique is great. And I think you're a really cool person, and it was fun hanging out with you in Budapest, and I hope to see you in Turkey as well.
Sure, guys. John, are you coming as well?
I would
Working on
love
it.
to, but I'm still recovering. I just had shoulder surgery about a month and a half ago, so on the mend. Maybe if I can touch the peg by then.
2019, that's the year we're going to get him over to Worlds. I think it's in Poland that year, so we're going to work on it.
Cool, cool,
I'm
cool.
open to it. I'm open to it.
Yeah, we're gonna get him there, man. He's gonna be 154 pounds too, so no Oreos for him
Don't
either.
be putting weight classes on me.
Actually, you guys are gonna be in the same weight class, so just get ready.
Oh,
That's the truth. That's why he wanted to interview you. He wanted to get all your secrets, so later on he'll be able to try to compete with you. Anyway, dude, this has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate you coming on. I know it's late there, and thanks for talking to us for a little while, and hopefully we can do it again soon, man.
yeah, it was a lot of fun talking to you, man.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was a pleasure.
All right.
Excellent. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Have a great night.
Later. Oh,